We completed
completed
this
this
hour
hour
asking
asking
for your
for your
blessings
blessings
and
and
guidance.
guidance.
We
We
ask
ask
that you continue to
you to
show
show
us
us
how
how
to
to
conduct
conduct
this
this
event
event
with a
with a
spirit of
spirit of
joy
joy
and
and
enthusiasm.
enthusiasm.
Father,
Father,
we
we
thank you
thank
for
you
our
for our
speakers.
speakers.
We
We
pray
pray
that you
that
would
you would
inspire
inspire
them
them
as they
to
share
share
with
with
us
us
what you
what
have
you have
placed in
placed
their
in their
hearts.
hearts.
Fill our
Fill our
conversations
conversations
with your
with
grace
grace
and
and
truth.
truth.
We
We
pray that
pray
this
that the
summit will
sun
lead to greater things for MWI and its
and its
partners,
partners,
clients, and
clients, and
networks
networks
all
all
over
over
the
the
world.
world.
May
May
this
this
event
event
be
be
another
another
source of
source of
hope
hope
that despite the pandemic,
that
we are
we are
able to
able to
share our
share our
precious
precious
time with
time with
one
one
another
another
for
for
opportunities
opportunities
our
our
company
companies
generously
share.
shares. Take
Take
what we
what we
have
have
prepared and multiply your efforts as
as
only
only
you
you can.
can. As we
As we
go
go
on with
on
our
with our
lives,
lives,
Father,
Father,
we
we
pray
pray
that you
that you
heal
heal
those who
those
are
who are
afflicted
afflicted
with
with
COVID
COVID-19.
19. May
May
you lay
you
your
lay your
hands
hands
upon
upon
them for
them.
healing. We
We
pray for
pray
our
for the front.
frontliners. May you
May you
bring
bring
strength
strength
and
and
protection to
protection to
them
them
as they
to
use
use
the
the
knowledge and
knowledge and
skills you
skills
have
you have
given
given
them.
them.
We
We
pray
pray
for
for
those who
those
are
who
at
are at
risk.
risk.
May you
May you
comfort
comfort
them and
them and
shield them
shield
from
them
any harm
from
and danger.
danger,
We pray for all the medical experts, especially the
especially the
scientists,
scientists,
that you
that
give
you
wisdom on
can
them to finally
finally
discover the
discover
cure for
for
COVID 19.
COVID-19.
May the various
Various
activities
activities
related to
related to
this
this
summit
summit
be a
be a
success
success
through your
for everyone.
intervention. All these
This
we
we
ask
ask
in
in
Jesus'
Jesus'
name.
name.
Amen. In the name of
In the
the
name of the
Father,
Father,
and of
and
the
of the
Son,
Son,
and of
and
the
of the
Holy
Holy
Spirit.
Spirit.
Amen.
Please
Please
remain
remain
standing for
standing
the
for the
Philippine
Philippine
national anthem.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. A very warm welcome to Megaworld International Sustainability and Innovation in the New Reality Summit. I am Mac Agapito, Business Development Manager of Megaworld International.
Good day to all our attendees. My name is John Peñaflor, the Training Manager of Mega World International, and we are truly honored to be your hosts for today's Sustainability and Innovation Summit.
Good day, John. Whatever time it may be in your country, we thank you for joining us today. You know what, John? I see so many people who are with us right now. We actually have like a thousand registrants in tonight's activity, and of course, I would also like to welcome and acknowledge the presence of our territory heads and their guests. So it's worth noting, John, that several nationalities are in attendance tonight.
I couldn't agree more, Mac. In fact, we are graced by our American friends, British, Australians, New Zealanders. We are also graced by our Qatari friends, Emirati, Turkish, Jordanian, Palestine, Saudi, Japanese, and Chinese nationals, to name a few.
Wow, that's a lot, John. This feels like more of a United Nations convention, but in real estate. And of course, we
That's
would
right.
like to acknowledge the presence of the Philippine ambassador to Austria, Ms. Maria Cleofe Natividad, Consulate General of the Philippines in Chicago, Ms. Gina Hamoralin, Consulate General of the Philippines in Houston, Texas, Mr. Jeriel Santos.
We would also like to acknowledge, Matt, the presence of the Consulate General of the Philippines in Qatar, Mr. Russell Reyes, and Labor Attaché, Mr. Des Dica.
Now, John, we are well represented internationally, as you know. And of course, not to
That's true.
mention our guests from the Philippines, starting with Philippine Consulate General of the Department of Foreign Affairs in Manila, Ms. Myla Makahilig. And since we are saying hello to those based in the Philippines, we would also like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the presence of our Megaworld International Group heads, Ms. Mia Buenaventura, Ms. Celilu Garcia Heng, Ms. Jessica Villanueva Tan, Mr. Gerard Vito, and Ms. Elaine Cruz.
That's right, Matt. Now, from the Philippines, let's head on to Europe. Let's also greet our territory heads from the European region. Starting off with our first Vice President from Europe, too, Miss Ethel Lim.
Good day, everyone, especially to our guests from the UK, Ireland, Philippines, and to our guests from Nordic countries. Good morning, Germany, guten Tag, France, bonjour tout le monde, Spain, buenos dias a todos, and to Israel, shalom.
Wow, thank you very much, Ms. Ethel. That's a lot of language to greet from. Now, we would also like to acknowledge and welcome our territory head from Europe 3, Vice President Mr. Henry Gallagher.
Good evening and welcome to our guests and participants from Vienna, Switzerland, Rome, and Greece.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gallagher. We would like to welcome our territory heads and team leader from the Middle East this time, Mac. From Middle East 1, we have our Assistant Vice President, Miss Bem Asperilla.
Assalamu alaikum. Sabah al-Khair, Masa al-Khair to all. Our guests from Qatar, Jordan, UAE, Bahrain, Turkey, Georgia are honored to be here.
Yeah, all right. Thank you very much, Ms. Asperilla. And now let's all welcome our team leader from Middle East 2, Mr. Rupi Natividad.
Good evening to all the officers, staff, and participants. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Natividad. And from Middle East 3, a warm welcome to our Assistant Vice President, Miss Rose Joma.
Salam alaikum, Miss Alker, marhaba. Greetings from Kuwait, Oman, and Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Thank you very much, Madam Fatma. From Middle East, let's now go to North America. By the way, John, no, it's 4:17 a.m. in North America right now. So imagine the commitment of our North America team. Shout out to you guys. Let's now welcome from North America 1, we have our Assistant Vice President, Ms. Fina Chelston.
Good morning, everyone. In behalf of North America 1 and Shenzhen delegates, thanks for having us. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much, Ms. Chelston. We also extend a warm welcome to our Assistant Vice President, Mr. Eric Dimaiwan.
Sir Eric, your microphone is on mute. You may unmute it now. There you go. There you go. Sir Eric.
Good evening and good morning. We are happy to welcome our guests, clients, and investors from across the United States of America.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dimaiwan. And of course, our team leader from North America 1, Ms. Sheila Madukdo.
Good evening. On behalf of our guests from the USA, thank you for having us.
Thank you so much to our team leaders and sales heads from North America 1. This time around, let's welcome our territory head from North America 2, Mr. Ramon Estaris.
Thank you. On behalf of our guests from Canada, good evening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Estaris. Our Vice President from North America 4 would also like to greet Ms. Katrina Benfer.
A very pleasant good morning. We are honored to be here. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Benfer. It is indeed a pleasant good morning because it's past 4 a.m. there. Thank you so much for all your presence. This time around, Mac, let's now get closer to home. Our territory heads from the Asia Pacific region. A warm welcome to our Assistant Vice President from Asia Pacific 2, Mr. Brian Plazo.
Minasan, konnichiwa. Philippine Mega World e Yokso. Kosan ka, arigatou gozaimasu. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. It is a pleasure being here. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much, Mr. Plaza, fluent Japanese. Yeah, of course, let's also welcome our Vice President from Asia Pacific 3. We have Ms. Elizabeth Angeles.
Good day, everyone. On behalf of our guests from Australia, New Zealand, and Papua New Guinea, we are happy to be here and we look forward to the summit.
Thank you so much, Ms. Angeles. And last but not the least, our warmest welcome to our Assistant Vice President from Asia Pacific 4, Mr. Rodel Gana.
Good evening, Xie to our guests from China.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gana. Thank you very much to all our territory heads and team leaders. All right, John, you know what? Last July, Megaworld International hosted its very first Philippine Real Estate Summit via Zoom. And from our distinguished speakers, we learned that the Philippine residential real estate outlook post-COVID-19 remains strong, thriving, and resilient. And real estate specific to the township concept still remains to be one of the most viable investment opportunities in the country today.
That's right, Matt. That's why now we look closer at the key drivers of real estate growth. Last September 2015, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and the 17 Sustainable Development Goals were launched at the United Nations. The development and environmental challenges the world is experiencing today call for new approaches to sustainable development. Innovation is key to drive the implementation of the new agenda. Now, the focus on sustainability and innovation in this summit aims to explore the best practices and knowledge on innovation, which explores information and communication technologies and beyond.
That's correct, John. And the capacity of innovation to also uplift global development trends is recognized in the Sustainable Development Goals. Now, while SDG 9 focuses on industry, innovation, and infrastructure, all SDGs acknowledge the importance of actionable strategies to leverage innovative practices in science and technology. And so these digital technologies can provide unprecedented solutions to address the fundamental needs of the society in general.
That's right, Matt. And tonight, we will also look at sustainable cities and how these models are the new norm for any future unforeseen events.
Yes, and this summit also promises to delve into our topic's relevance, especially in today's challenging times. And I'm sure all our participants can't wait to hear what our experts have to say.
That's right. And talking about experts, the next part of the program, of course, I will be introducing a senior executive who has been with a group of companies for the past 33 long years and is the woman behind the success of Megaworld's global marketing arm, Megaworld International. For the welcome remarks, let us give a warm applause to our Senior Vice President and Managing Director for Megaworld International, Ms. Maria Victoria Acosta.
Thank you very much, John. To our distinguished speakers, Madam Senator Pia Cayetano and Mr. Kevin Tan, our special guests from the consulates of the Philippines in various countries, to all our sales network and guests from all over the world, my warmest greetings. It gives me great pride to welcome all of you to our summit on sustainability and innovation in the new reality. Innovation is very much the core concept that built Megaworld for more than 31 years under the leadership of our visionary chairman, Dr. Andrew L. Tan. The company's commitment to innovation underscores its vision to uplift people's lives, impact society, and help shape the nation. This perfect blueprint for sustainable urban communities made Megaworld the country's leading real estate developer and #1 business process outsourcing office space provider and landlord in the Philippines. Sustainability and innovation. These two concepts work hand in hand because sustainable development requires harnessing technological innovation to improve human well-being in current and future generations. This rings true all the more in these challenging times when technology and preparedness are not just words, but crucial solutions. Today, we have the privilege of listening to two admirable proponents of sustainability and innovation. Mr. Kevin Tan, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to speak to us today. Madam Senator Pia Cayetano, thank you for allowing us the chance to learn from you and to know the projects you hold dear, despite having a full schedule in the Senate as well. And to our, I think, almost 500 or more than 500 participants, we hope this summit will be a source of inspiration to actively take part in nation building through sustainability and innovation. May this summit fuel the desire to be one with MegaWorld and its vision to uplift people's lives, impact society, and help shape the nation. In this new reality, we all have our parts to do, and collectively, we can do so much for our nation through sustainability and innovation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mamari Vic, for that warm welcome. I am very sure that your remarks made our crowd even more excited. I mean, Mac, talk about sustainability and innovation and the new reality come into one and being felt in our township developments by MegaWorld and its subsidiaries is such a breakthrough. Thank you so much once again, Mac.
I couldn't agree more, John. And we are, of course, very excited to hear from our experts today. And to introduce our first speaker, we will now turn you over to Mr. Gerard Vito, SAVP and Head of Training and Business Development of MegaWorld International. Sir G.
Thank you, John and Mac. I am sure they're all excited to hear the insightful talks from our speakers. I am very privileged to introduce our very first speaker. She's a lawyer, triathlete, and a mother. Madam Senator Pia S. Cayetano is leading efforts in the Philippine Senate to craft strategic policy to equip the country for the new normal and beyond. Recently, she led the passage of the Bayanihan to Heal as One Act, which outlined the government's comprehensive response to COVID-19. She is also a co-sponsor of the Bayanihan to Recover as One Act, which lays down the programs to allow the economy to build back better from the fallout caused by the pandemic. Madam Senator Pia currently chairs the Senate Committee on Sustainable Development Goals, Innovation, and Futures Thinking, which has been working on proposed roadmaps for the future of health, education, and work. She is also actively pushing for sustainable transportation, including the allocation of safe pathways and bike lanes and building sustainable communities in line with our sustainable development goals. Finally, Madam Senator Pia chairs the Senate Committee on Ways and Means, which is tasked to carry out comprehensive reforms to make our tax and fiscal incentive systems serve genuine and sustainable national development. She is the Senate's Pinay in action. Let us all welcome Madam Senator Pia S. Cayetano.
Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon to everyone in different time zones. I'm very excited to be with you and to share a little bit about my work. I understand many of you are not in the Philippines, so to share what's also going on. So let me get started by sharing my slide. Give me a second.
Pia Cayetano diha no. Sang gi-invite kay naaman sa kuan, summit sa Mega World. On sustainability and innovation press.
Right.
Oh.
Reset.
sustainability and innovation for the year 2020.
Okay, so
Kay pandemic ba yan?
yes, I'm coming from my current position, which is the chairman of the Committee on Sustainable Development Goals, Innovation, and Futures Thinking. So what I'm about to share with you are a lot of learnings that I've made just in the recent year since I've chaired this newly formed committee in the Senate, which I strongly lobbied for because I sincerely believe that without using the Sustainable Development Goals as our priorities and without focusing on the future, using futures thinking, we would not be able to really achieve the goals we set out. Let me just adjust my slides so I still see some of the audience. Otherwise, I feel like I am speaking to my slides. Okay, there we go. I think you can see my slide, right? The future of living. Yes? All right. So, given that background, let me tell you my observation. A lot of people are pretty much focused on getting over this pandemic and returning to the normal. But I need to tell all of us, all of you who are decision makers in some way, whether it's you're a decision maker in your home or in your business, those of us who need to make these difficult decisions, it is incumbent upon us to move forward and use the challenges of this pandemic that this pandemic has presented to us as stepping stones for a brighter future. So let's not just try to go back to where we were before. In the committee that I mentioned, the Committee on SDGs, Innovation and Futures Thinking, we track where our country is in terms of all the SDGs. We explore and prepare for different various futures. And our goal is to shift the mindset both of people in government, in the private sector, and in the whole country, if that's possible, to shift that kind of mindset that includes futures thinking as a major policy reform. Futurists will tell you that we live in a VUCA world. What is a VUCA world? A VUCA world is volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. So at a glance, these are the things that confront us. They were already here pre-COVID. It just seems a little bit more VUCA now in this time of COVID. Depending on what your work is, geopolitical conflicts may not really be your concern. Disaster risk may not be your concern. It may just be employment. It may be traffic, whatever it is. But I'm telling you that all over the world, these are various issues that we are being confronted with. So how do we adapt and thrive in a VUCA world? Well, that's where future thinking come in. And the best way for me to illustrate this is Bill Gates. In 2014, he was very much involved in the studies on pandemics and infectious diseases that would affect the world. And in 2015, he gave a TED talk referring to the 2014 outbreak of Ebola and saying that the next one is going to come anytime soon. So come 2020, we all were so shocked. We acted like, where did this come from? We're unprepared. Why did we not know? But you know what? I've given many talks to scientists and health communities, and they knew. They knew. We don't want it to happen. We don't have time to adjust and adapt to prepare for it to happen. But the scientists and those involved in futures thinking knew that it was going to come. So looking back, it happened. Okay? Now, look at the next article I pulled up. It's about Taiwan. I pulled this up in June. In June, Taiwan was already preparing for the next pandemic. So here we are still struggling. Even those of you in Europe, you know that the European countries are struggling. Those of you in America, various states are handling it in different ways. But basically, a lot of countries are struggling. But in sometime around June also, I spoke to our ambassador in Taiwan, and he says things are pretty much back to normal. People are wearing masks, but life goes on. Business is good because Taiwan was prepared. And that goes for other countries in this region. Asia has actually been cited Many countries in Asia were somehow more prepared, and these are the likes of Korea, Vietnam, Hong Kong. It's because they experienced SARS and other similar, well, global, but it may not have global impact, but other major health scares, and they learn from it. So, for us to look into the future, we always have to go back to education, right? And this is actually a photo of my son. If somebody told me, look into the future and imagine your 10-year-old son, this is Lucas, studying online, meeting his classmates and teachers online, playing football online. What else is he doing? Art class online, play dates online. I would have said, no, not this generation. Maybe my grandchildren or my great grandchildren. But it happened in my lifetime as a mother with my son who's 10 years old. And my other daughter who's actually finishing her last year in college. So what kind of education do our kids need to thrive in the 21st century? Well, I hate to tell you this because wherever you are, this is the criticism that futurists who specialize in education tell us. Sadly, a lot of education systems are still teaching 20th century skills. That's the basics: reading, writing, and the like. But passing on of information. But that was only relevant during the 20th century. In the 21st century, it is so easy to get information. The skills we need to teach our young children are critical thinking, communication, collaboration, and creativity, otherwise known as the 4 C's. And as I have regular discussions with the Department of Education, I actually will be handling the budget of the Department of Education. I have been telling them that in as much as we are not as advanced as other countries when it comes to connectivity, it may be very difficult to teach certain basic principles in math or other subjects, but we can find ways to improve communication, collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking. So we can take advantage of whatever limited resources we have and still teach these skills. Now, what about the workforce? Fast forward. This may have been relevant to those with young kids, but those of you who are focused on your workforce, on your team, what about the workforce of the future? The workforce of the future will have to adapt. It is not a matter of the smartest who will survive. Those who will survive and thrive are those who can adapt the fastest. So remember that. It's about adaptability. The World Economic Forum confirms that in 2030, 10 years from now, 50% of the jobs will change because of automation. But does that mean that 50% of the people will be out of jobs? No, because only 5% of the jobs will be eliminated. So people need to learn with AI. They need to learn digital skills because there will be a lot of upgrading of the work that they do using artificial intelligence, digital skills. So they need to upgrade their skills. That is the most important thing. And we are also told it's not about one upgrade. It's continually upgrading. So if you can accept change, you will survive the next generation. So let me go now to one of my favorite topics. Sustainable cities. I've used this to illustrate. I have to tell you, depending on who I'm talking to, it's a different SDG in the middle, okay? But I truly believe, and as I do have a bill on sustainable cities, which I'll tell you a little bit more about later, that this may not be in the center of making everything happen, but this is where you're going to see whether we have been successful with the other SDGs. Because it's where people live. You open your window in the morning, you walk out as soon as you have your coffee, or you'll have your coffee in the coffee shop. That's how you will see how we are doing with SDG 1 on poverty, SDG 3 on good health. That city will reflect how well we are doing with these SDGs. And take note, these are cities and communities. This talk will get a little bit more exciting in the next few slides. By 2030, according to the United Nations, 68% of the world's population will be living in cities. Now, that was made pre-COVID. So my question is, do you think that is going to change after COVID?
Yes.
Do you think the migration into cities will stay the same?
Change tayo.
Or is it possible that there will be a reversal because obviously in the rural areas or less developed mega cities, there's more space, there's more fresh air, there's more opportunity to roam around and to go to school without being in a cramped school bus and so on and so forth. So what will it be? Well, this is where it gets, oops, sorry, I fast forwarded my slides. My fingers were excited to, there we go. Okay, so welcome to this, the Futures platform. This is actually, you can look it up. This is a website. This is I believe, a Swedish-based business consultancy firm. And it's called Futures Platform. You can look it up, futuresplatform.com. And what they do is they have this radar that I'm showing you right now, where they're tracking what's happening in so many different areas. So I've encircled areas which I feel were related to sustainable cities. No? So there's life indoor, hyper-localization, and city self-sufficiency. So and there is one more, which is actually the sample I'm going to give you. There is smart countryside. It's kind of at the 4 o'clock, and I'm going to show you that next slide. Because if you click on this, on any item that you're interested in this case, I'm going to click on smart countryside. So it's basically showing how the countryside, rural areas all over the world, we will fast forward their progress by making them smart and connected. And you will find related articles in this site that talk about anything that's the movement happening nowadays. And even in the Philippines now, there's a lot of people who are moving outside. If they live in a cramped apartment, and I've read articles similar to this happening in other countries, they prefer to move out and work digitally in a place that's not as crowded and perceived to be safer. So these are interesting trends that we need to keep abreast about. So these are just presentations that I've given in the last few months. The future of healthcare is very much interrelated to smart cities and sustainable cities. In one of my hearings on the future of health, our health expert, our futurist, told us that the future of healthcare will be in your bathroom. You walk in your bathroom, you look in the mirror, you take a pill, and there will be a camera that will track how when the pill goes down your body, and that pill is basically scanning everything that's going on in your body. And that information will be transmitted to doctors, where they will then prescribe some interventions as needed. And apparently this is already being tried. So I said, wow, how will that work in the Philippines, where we only have, we still are a developing country, and not everyone will have that luxury of having digital connection in their bathroom and being able to buy that pill. It might be quite a bit of time before PhilHealth can fund something like that. And then I realized, because I travel quite a bit around our country, there are internet cafes even in rural areas. In fact, you'll see quite a number of them, precisely because internet access in the homes are not readily accessible. The internet cafes flourish. So a possibility here is internet medical cafes, where people can have their scan while having coffee, or while checking the news, or while even working remotely. And you already see signs of this happening in my own city in Taguig. Telemedicine was launched. We even have online consultations for your pets, for veterinary services. Taguig has been in the news all over the world because we had a robo graduate who took the place of the students, and their face was in the iPad. The iPad was the face of the robot. And then this gave birth to another idea, which is the robo-nurse, that isolation in these quarantine centers in Taguig City. So, when you think about the future cities, it's not a big jump. These are little steps that are happening every day. They may seem like jumps only because we're not aware that they're happening. But if you're consciously following them, they're happening all around us. This is a bill that I filed on safe pathways. Very similar for those of you who live in Europe. I see a lot of them there. These are slow streets, which are closed to allow non-motorized vehicles and a lot of walking to interconnect people so they can move around safely without the need of vehicles. And that is actually pending on the Senate floor as I am defending that. And I have my Sustainable Cities and Communities Bill, which we do hope will become a law soon. The Bayanihan to Heal as One and Bayanihan to Recover as One includes a lot of policies on sustainabilities. I won't go through the details, but basically waste management, the use of sustainable transportation, incentivizing local production of PPEs, and so on and so forth. And I'm happy to report that we are working with the development of the Academy of the Philippines to incorporate futures thinking in all levels of government. They now offer a course. It is available not just to the public sector, but also to the private. So for those of you who are interested in this, futures thinking is a thing. It is something that a lot of corporations have invested in. And I'm happy to report that the DAP is now offering it. And I've included a futures office under the NEDA, the National Economic and Development Authority of the Philippines. Lastly, I'm about to wrap up. This is the other committee that I chair. I might as well throw it in there. Create Bill is made two major things. It is immediately reducing corporate income tax from 30% to 25%, which is also meant to spur business to help, during this time, make it more exciting to invest. And it is also rationalizing incentives so that they are targeted, time-bound, and performance-based, so that we are also targeting the kind of businesses we want in the Philippines. And I'd like to add that included there are businesses that promote sustainability. So let me end with SDG 17 on partnerships for goals. Whether it's public-private partnership, private with NGOs, global partnerships, all of that is very important to achieving the SDGs and moving forward in the Philippines. I left out one thing because I didn't have time to make a slide for it. But I'm so proud to tell you that during the briefing I had with the Commission on Higher Education, I will also be in charge of the budget of higher education and Department of Education. I'd like to tell you that the University of the Philippines, and I'm sure there's a lot of you here who are from my alma mater as well, has top universities in many countries when it comes to research in the areas of health, in the areas of the health sector. Let me just be very accurate with what I'm sharing. They've actually they've outscored Oxford, Harvard, and Cambridge in citations for clinical and preclinical and health studies. So that's something to show that we are on our way in making our mark in the fields of research and innovation. So let me end on that note, and thank you very much for this opportunity to share what we are doing in government, along with private partners who are all working together to make this a better Philippines. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Senator Pia. That was indeed an eye-opener for all of us. And we're proud to say that MegaWorld Corporation commits itself to sustainability by creating sustainable townships all over the Philippines. You surely gave us hope even this VUCA times because of the laws that you have passed in the Senate. And now I would like to introduce our next distinguished speaker. Mr. Kevin L. Tan is the Chief Executive Officer of Alliance Global Group Incorporated, one of the Philippines' most diversified conglomerates with interests in food and beverage industry, gaming and entertainment, tourism and hospitality, real estate development, and quick service restaurants. As CEO of AGI, he is in charge of strategic planning and direction of the entire conglomerate. He oversees AGI's financial operations, investments and acquisitions, and the company's external affairs, representing the conglomerate in various public and private functions. Mr. Tan also holds directorships in AGI companies including Emperador Distillers Incorporated, Global Estate Resorts Incorporated, Empire East Land Holdings Incorporated, Golden Arches Development Corporation, the holder of the master franchise of McDonald's Philippines, Resorts World Manila, and Mega World Corporation. He is also the president of InfraCorp's AGI's infrastructure arm dedicated to complement the infrastructure projects of the national government, and Agile Digital Ventures, AGI's newly formed investment arm, which spearheads the company's digital transformation and smart technology innovation. The youngest CEO of of a major Philippine conglomerate, Mr. Tan has been recognized as one of the People of the Year in 2018 by People Asia. His efforts in leading AGI has received international plaudits, including two prestigious Entrepreneur of the Year awards at the Asia Leaderships Awards 2019 and at the 71st George Washington Charity Ball. He is also a recipient of the Leaders of Tomorrow Award at the World HRD Congress Global HR Excellence Awards. Under his leadership, MegaWorld sustainability efforts in environment, social, and governance have earned the companies an award at the Asset ESF Awards in Hong Kong. Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to Mr. Kevin L. Tan.
Hello. Uh, First off, I would like to greet my very good friend, Honorable Senator Pia Cayetano. Thank you very much for being with us tonight. Of course, I want to greet also the members of our very, very excellent Mega World International team. And of course, I want to also greet our beloved investors joining us from different parts of the world. Currently, it's evening here in the Philippines, so a good evening to all of you. It is my pleasure, it is an honor and my pleasure to be a part of this Investor Summit. I would like to thank our Senior Vice President and Managing Director for MedWorld International, Ms. Marivic Acosta, for her invitation. I'm very excited to be here tonight to share with you some of the things we're doing and really really how we are coping with some of these with the situation. The topic of the summit, sustainability and innovation in the new reality, has become increasingly relevant in a world profoundly impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Sustainability and innovation are words that have always been used in business, but in this pandemic, they carry even more weight. Such an unprecedented amount of disruption happened in only a few short months, and it tested the agility and resilience of pretty much every company in every industry in all countries. For the Alliance Global Group, sustainability and innovation has always been our corporate battle cry. As one of the largest conglomerates in the Philippines, it was AGI's vision that allowed us to grow responsibly and to funnel a culture of sustainability and innovation down to all our businesses. AGI has business interests in real estate through MegaWorld and in distilled spirit manufacturing through Emperador, which produces the world's largest selling brandy. We also have interests in the quick service restaurant industry through the Golden Arches Development Corporation, or McDonald's Philippines, a strategic partnership between us and the George Young Group. We also have a thriving integrated tourism and hospitality business through Travelers International, which operates Resorts World Manila, and an infrastructure company called InfraCorp Development Inc. Now, let me talk first about MegaWorld, which is something that's very close to all of our hearts, as it was our real estate business that planted the seeds of our sustainability efforts as early as 1996. During this year, we launched Eastwood City in Libis, Quezon City, as the country's first ever live, work, play, learn township and cyber park. Township concept is anchored on a master plan that maximizes land use and integrates essential components of day-to-day living. We build residences, offices, and malls, as well as facilities for learning, worship, wellness, and leisure in a single setting where everything is just within easy reach. The development concept reduces the carbon footprint as it allows people to just easily walk instead of using their cars, which effectively reduces the emission of greenhouse gases. The walkability of our township has a positive impact not only on the environment, but also on the physical and psychological wellness and well being of the people living, working, and visiting our townships. Pioneering the township concept allowed us to improve people's quality of life. Transportation and traffic has been very challenging in the Philippines, as you all know, particularly in Metro Manila. So our townships become preferred choice for a new way of life in our country. Currently, we have 26 urban townships and lifestyle communities across the Philippines. Each one is unique to its location in terms of concept and character, as it preserves the culture and values of the community where it belongs, which is another important nod to sustainability. In 2018, we launched iTownships, a program that paved the way in future proofing our developments. We saw the importance of aligning our developments to the demands of the changing times by quickly adapting to disruption, which we perceived as an opportunity. At the heart of iTownship are innovations and technology breakthroughs such as the integration of smart home technology in all of our residential units, the digitalization of our customer service and payment processes, utilization of digital technology and energy efficient materials in structural designs, our smart parking systems, and the creation of township operation centers that allows 24 by 7 monitoring of all our townships across the country for security, safety, and emergency response. The sustainability of our township model was proven during the height of the lockdown in the Philippines. Our townships remained in full operations with our team on the ground in full force, providing round the clock security, safety, sanitation, as well as safety protocols, 24 by 7 surveillance system, and various digital capabilities, which allowed us to successfully control and avert any major outbreaks within any of our townships to date. In May, we rolled out a program called Healthy Buildings, highlighting our efforts in creating healthy workspaces in our various office developments. Through MegaWorld Premier Offices, we have been at the forefront of developing energy efficient and LEED certified office buildings. We have built the Philippines' first ever LEED Gold certified building for business process outsourcing, or BPOs, which is the 8 campus place office tower in McKinley Hill, which is now being occupied by Wells Fargo. To date, we have 11 LEED certified buildings with 63 more undergoing certification process. Our innovations are not just confined to our development designs. We have also made sure that the lifestyles within our township is powered by relevant and innovative digital tools. Our MegaWorld lifestyle malls and MegaWorld hotels have adapted to the new reality by reaching out to customers through alternative channels. Our malls have provided contactless options for purchase and increased e-commerce platforms. Our ticketing facility for our parking are now contactless. Our various hotel properties, on the other hand, rolled out our e-concierge, which allows hotel guests to order their room service, request for amenities, or even check in and check out without even having to go to the front desk. In July, MegaWorld created Agile Digital Ventures, a wholly owned subsidiary that spearheads the company's digital investments and technology related projects. Last August, the company rolled out its first startup investment called Picaru, the Philippines' first all in one on demand lifestyle delivery app. This app intends to help Filipino retailers smoothly migrate to the digital space and to allow premium brands to sell and deliver their products online and on demand. First Oceanic Property Management, which manages most of our residential and office properties, launched IFAE, its own internet-based automated solutions portal. This all-in-one app allows for faster, more convenient contactless billing and collection, procurement and disbursement, financial reporting, and even a very good visitors management system in every building that it manages. Meanwhile, for our Emperador, we have self-sufficient distilleries and production facilities. In fact, some are already powered by renewable sources of energy, including biomass and solar panels. Our expansive vineyard and production facilities in Spain have cut down water consumption through the rainwater recovery systems
Kaya
technology.
nakasanayan na po ang smart
We have also utilized recyclable materials for our products, from the glass bottles to the fiber boxes and paper labels. In fact, majority of our packaging is already 100% recycled. In terms of innovation, Emperador's Bodegas Fundador in Spain advanced its industrial processes further last year when it designed and installed new robotic cells to replace the old conventional palletizers at the end of the bottling production line. Bodegas Fundador is the first company of its kind in Spain to have a fully robotized palletizing plant. Today, Emperador is proud to produce world-class products that are untouched by human hands because of its advanced technological innovations in liquor production. McDonald's Philippines, on the other hand, championed a gold standard in product sourcing and provided customers with easy accessibility to nutritional information of its offerings. It has also drastically reduced single-use plastic for packaging and started implementing reusable cutleries over disposable plastic utensils on a big scale. 2 years ago, McDonald's rolled out its next gen stores across the Philippines, which elevated the overall customer experience inside the stores. Among the key features of the next gen stores include self-ordering kiosks, modernized menu boards, e-wallet payments, and a split counter system for faster and better efficiency in processing orders. Under Travelers International, which operates Resource World Manila, we have a variety of efforts that pursue renewable energy, energy and water conservation, sustainable food sourcing, recycling, use of biodegradable materials, and waste management across various AGI hotel developments like the Marriott, Sheraton, Hilton, and the Akura. Because of these programs, we conserve over 1,727 megawatts hours of electricity and 331,000 gallons of water annually. We have also eliminated about 2.7 million plastic bottles and 480,000 plastic straws every year in our hotels. For Infracorp, we are upbeat about our first mass transit project called the SkyTrain, an elevated monorail system that will connect our uptown Bonifacio Township to the MRT and the soon to open Makati subway system, right at the heart of the Philippine capital. In February, the conglomerate along with its various companies, conducted the first ever summit on sustainability, which was aptly called Sustainagility. Each company presented its plans and programs as part of their commitment to the group's efforts in supporting the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, particularly in areas of water and energy, job creation, local economic development, environment, women in the workplace, waste management, resiliency, green development, education, and community development. A month after, when the coronavirus pandemic hit the country, AGI once again demonstrated its role in nation building when it immediately mobilized efforts to help the country curb the spread of the virus and recover from the impact of the pandemic. To date, the group's donation and projects have already reached 4.1 billion pesos or approximately 80 million US dollars. Among our first projects was the donation of 1 million liters of disinfectant alcohol to our healthcare workers, border security frontliners, and to the various local governments. The various companies, such as MegaWorld, Resource World Manila, and McDonald's Philippines, also donated meals and personal protective equipment to medical and government frontliners and the poorest communities in Metro Manila.
Oh.
MegaWorld also donated four brand new testing laboratories to the Philippine Red Cross in order to help government further increase its testing capacity for COVID-19. Just like any other company, AGI felt the impact of this unexpected global pandemic. However, this crisis has made us stronger than ever. It gave us the opportunity to think faster, focus clearer, and strategize better. During this time, we have come up with a 5-point strategy to help us move forward fast as one Alliance Global Group. We are anchoring our plans on, first and foremost, the sustainability and wellness strategy, in which our developments and projects will align with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. We are also prioritizing the well-being of the 85,000 employees who work for the Alliance Global Group and its various companies through the rollout of various health and wellness programs and strengthened in health insurance coverage to protect the welfare of our workforce, which is the lifeblood of our organization. Second is the earning diversity strategy. AGI will further diversify and expand its revenue mix to provide for future growth without sacrificing earning stability. MegaWorld, for example, will continue to build a significant recurring income stream from its office developments. The company has also been expanding its projects in key provincial cities throughout the country to help decongest Metro Manila. For Emperador, the priority is overseas expansion as its whiskey business continues to gain momentum in key international markets. Third is a digitalization strategy. AGI will further expand its digitalization efforts, which started 3 years ago. We will continue to strengthen our digital capabilities by investing and creating digital platforms and startup companies that will further enhance our company's digital and technology infrastructure. Fourth is financial flexibility strategy. AGI is focused on maintaining financial discipline even as it continues to pursue aggressive expansion plans. We continue to be prudent in managing our cash as well as our debt so that we will be able to pursue expansion programs, complete our existing projects, and finance all of our projects pipelines. Our financial strength will allow us easy access to financing and other investments, despite the setback brought about by this crisis. Lastly, our adaptability strategy. AGI, backed by our very healthy balance sheet, is ready to take advantage of opportunities when they present themselves, either in land banking or business acquisitions. We are an agile company, ready to pivot and maneuver our businesses where the opportunities are. We have gone through several crises in history. In fact, Mega World was built at a time when the Philippines was facing social political turmoil, which was then followed by two huge calamities that shook the entire nation. We've been there, we've done that, and today we know we can get through this again. We can now see the early signs of recovery in most of our businesses, leading to a brighter prospects in fourth quarter and in 2021. Land and property prices have been very stable in the Philippines. In fact, we have even seen value appreciation of property in some parts of the country, especially those areas outside Metro Manila, even in the middle of the quarantine period. We always believe that there are always opportunities hidden behind the challenges that we face. All of us in AGI are riding on this momentum of hope and optimism. Together, we will continue to stand on the pedestal of resilience because this will drive Alliance Global Group and the various companies to a better, brighter, and healthier future ahead. I wish everyone good health and safety wherever you are in the world. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Sir Kevin. We are truly delighted for your presence tonight, more so for that very insightful presentation. See, Mac, Sir Kevin's presentation only means that Alliance Global, especially Mega World, commits into constantly transforming the way we do business as we move forward in a uniquely challenging environment. Now, Mac, at this point, may we request all panelists to kindly turn your videos and microphones off, except for our two speakers. And now we are ready to receive questions for our panel. You may type questions on our chat box while as we wait for others or waiting for the guests to type in their questions, we will start off with some questions on file. All right, our first question goes to our speaker number one, who happens to be Madam Senator Pia Cayetano. And this question came from one of our clients, Ma'am Pia, or Madam Pia, Senator Pia. What are the main problems we are encountering that hinder our progress and sustainable development?
Well, like many developed countries, we have not invested in the benchmarking of where we are. So, for you to know how much, how much, if you're going forward or not achieving enough, you have to know where you're starting, right? So, when I started following the SDGs, that is the first thing that I pointed out. And you need to spend money for that because you have to do surveys across the board on almost every single thing that we're doing. So that's in the household, that's in the environment. And this is common to developing countries. It's not just us, but unfortunately, COVID took a backseat. It was not considered a priority because you have to first look at saving lives. But what I'm trying to do for this 2021 budget is ensure that we have funding that we put to achieve those benchmark, well, to plot those benchmark, to do the research that we need to do. So that's just really just doing your homework, and that already is a setback for us. And again, the reason I chose to emphasize futures thinking, if you think of yourself as a decision maker, whether in your home or in your business, you tend to get caught up in the now, especially when there's a catastrophe or a problem. You're focusing that now, like what do I do now? And you don't set enough time for the future. And that's what I'm trying to do, because we get stuck in the now and then we don't save time and resources to plan for the future. And then the future is today, and then we could have done so much better and saved resources if we had planned for it. So those are one step at a time.
Thank you so much, Madam Senator Pia. Mac?
All right. So we have another question. This one goes to Sir Kevin, and this is actually a common question from our foreign investors. Sir Kevin, how does the Philippines compare versus innovation and digital transformation of its ASEAN neighbors?
Thanks for the question. I think there's still a lot of opportunities for the Philippines. No, admittedly, we're a bit behind uh, from our ASEAN neighbors. I think countries like Indonesia and Vietnam right now are leading the charge in terms of the growth. No, and corporate digital transformation, I think it also highly depends on how robust the startup industry, technology startup industry is in a particular country. And as I mentioned, Indonesia and Vietnam are way ahead of us. For example, if you look at e-commerce, those two countries have been growing at about 80% every year, while the Philippines, we've only been growing around 47% every year. Ride hailing, for example, they've been growing in Indonesia and Vietnam at around 57%. In the Philippines, only about 30% a year per year. We are at par though at things like online travel, which is good. But I think we're also still ranked quite low in terms of funding, no? Source of areas where recipient of funding, and we didn't have a lot of deals being made in the Philippines in the last 2 years. But I think there's a lot of room for growth, no? Because the Philippines, is the second largest internet user base in all of Southeast Asia. It's only second actually to Indonesia. We are also the sixth largest audience for Facebook in the world. So as our population is quite tech savvy, and we're quite used to using the internet. Now AGI, we've always recognized this, and that's why we have been investing in innovation in the last 3 years. And this pandemic actually, will actually just speed things up for us and for everyone. Um, but because we are, Philippines is somewhat behind and still needs to catch up. I think it's a tremendous opportunity for the Philippines, but also tremendous opportunity for a company like MegaWorld to be ahead of the curve as we have been. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Sir Kevin. So I'm very much sure that our contingents, our foreign contingents, are very pleased with that insightful responses.
That is right, Mac. This time around, our next question goes to both our speakers, Sir Kevin and Senator Pia. And this question came from one of our attendees. She asked, how do you see the Philippines in the next 5 or 10 years? Senator Pia?
Well, my training now as a futurist is to be prepared for all kinds of futures. So it would actually be irresponsible to just assume that only one kind of future would happen. Of course, we'd like to look at the bright future, but future thinking requires that you look at all possibilities because there may also be opportunities that you don't discover. So, for example, if you did not plan for this pandemic, who would have thought that anything from education online to all these young people who are now entrepreneurs selling food and whatnot. I'm sure, Kevin, your whole family is also a recipient of all these goodies. You know what? Looking back, uh, what was it? A subject on entrepreneurship was one of the first bills I filed in my early days as a senator because I believe that Filipinos are truly entrepreneurial at heart. So my point is going back to the question, 5 to 10 years, there are so many possibilities, and I'd like to draw the attention to this website that I mentioned in my talk. It's called Futures Platform. It's so exciting because this company they use AI and then futurists, so the future scientists, and third crowdsourcing to look for the answers to those kind of questions. So I obviously don't have those qualifications, but in a nutshell, I would say in 5 to 10 years, I feel like we would have learned our lesson and be prepared more when it comes to health. And we will be investing more in digital technology, which will jumpstart what I feel and Kevin has recognized as a kind of slow momentum that we have compared to our neighbors. But I feel that we will, and when I say we, it's not just government, but the private sector as well. Will we realize this, and I think we will jumpstart our this whole COVID jumpstarts our recognition that we need to act now. We need to invest in these kind of technologies to prepare for a better future.
Thank you so much, Senator Pia. Sir Kevin?
Yeah, I think the last 10 years, the Philippines has been growing at around 6 to 7%. No, it's one of the highest among Asia. Of course, this year it's a different story. With this year basically sets us back a few years, but I think the momentum is still there. That of course during the last 10 years, since we grew so fast, our infrastructure has had to play catch up. No, but in the last 3 years, our government has really been focusing quite a lot on building up the infrastructure. And in fact, even during this pandemic, I feel that they've purposely opened up the construction industry precisely so that they could continue on the infrastructure projects. I mean, I think if they're able to build more mass transit transportation, more roads, and if we're able to connect all our 7,000 islands through bridges, and more importantly through new airports, I think the Philippines in the next 5 to 10 years will be a real powerhouse for tourism. Now I know tourism again this year has been drastically affected, but I think it's very much a temporary thing. No, again, I think we are a little bit behind in this, but there's just so much room to grow. Thailand is doing about 40 million tourists last year. Did about 40 million tourists last year. It's the ninth most visited country in the world. The Philippines, we did about a fifth of that in terms of numbers. But we have the right service culture. We have, I think, better natural resources, better pricing, and we have a lot of land still to develop. Also, the Philippines, unlike any other country in Asia, we are about 3 hour flight time to about 70% of Asian countries. Okay, so and I think in the medium term, I really feel that China, which is the largest source market for most countries, will not be traveling. Chinese tourists will not be traveling long distance for a long time. So it's going to be a regional play, and I think the Philippines will be the recipient of this tremendous advantage. That's why we have been investing as well in hotels. No, as you know, we are the largest hotel operator. AGI now is now the largest hotel operator in the Philippines. We have about 6,500 keys, and even despite the pandemic, we still continue to develop our hotel business, and we're going to be finishing a few 500 more rooms by next year. Secondly, I really believe that the Philippines can truly be a huge player in exports, be it manufacturing or service or even knowledge exports. A lot of investments are now being put in to creating special export manufacturing zones in areas like Cavite, Pampanga, where Clark is, Davao, and Cebu. And right now, in terms of manufacturing, we are moving up the value chain. Same goes with service and knowledge exports. BPO sector is very vibrant right now. And we expect the BPO sector to continue to grow. Unfortunately, as many countries are experiencing recessions, a lot of their jobs from developed countries will be sourced out, and the Philippines again will be the recipient of this. Lastly, I think there's going to be a technological revolution in the Philippines. The government is investing to build up our mobile internet infrastructure. We just awarded a third player for our mobile cellular service, and we're also building hundreds and thousands of cell towers all over the countries, even in far-flung areas. I think, though, the Philippines, what we need are real tech talents. But there's a bright spot, and there's a silver line to all this. There is a growing number of Filipino talents and engineers now in Silicon Valley, although they are occupying, middle-level management jobs, but they are also moving up the ranks. And I think the Philippines has the right demographics to cultivate tech talents. We are young, we are a large population. Our robust young demographics is also ideal for many tech products like e-commerce, fintech. That's why a lot of venture capital is now looking at Asia, especially Southeast Asia. And I think again, the Philippines again, is ripe for this. So aside from that, of course, our remittance remains stable. Even during the pandemic, it had gone down, but not to a level that we all expected. It was actually better than expected. And we are a huge consumption economy. So I think if you add up all these things, the next 5 years, it's easy to see that the Philippines is going to climb the ranks of developed nations.
Thank you so much once again, Senator Pia Cayetano and Sir Kevin, for your thoughts about how will be the Philippines look like in the next 5 to 10 years. Just like myself, I'm pretty sure the crowd is also excited about what will be the Philippines in the next 5 years or 10 years now. Thank you so much once again.
Yeah, that's correct, John. We're all looking for a brighter future ahead. All right. So we have another question. This is also directed to Sir Kevin, and I'm sure our investors would also like to hear your expert advice with regard to this topic. They said both government and private sector have their initiatives. So what can an ordinary citizen do to help propel the country to a future-proof nation grounded in innovation and sustainability? So that's the question, Sir Kevin.
Yeah, I think education will play a big part to the success of the Philippines. The both government and the private sector have been investing quite a lot to modernize the country's infrastructure. And there's also been a significant improvement in our push for renewable energy, as well as creating a more sustainable nation. But I think people need to be educated, no, so that collectively everyone can make a difference, and also so that we will be able to sustain the momentum that the country is currently creating today.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Sir Kevin. Education, John. Education is a ticket to a better future, right?
That is right.
Okay,
For a much brighter Philippines.
Thank you very much, Sir Kevin.
All right, now this time around, Mac, and to Senator Pia and Sir Kevin, we have few questions coming from our chat box and coming from different parts of the world. And this time is for Sir Kevin once again. We receive a question from Helen Nikolov of Bulgaria. She asked, what are the insights you have gained regarding doing business in the time of COVID-19? Sir?
Thank you for that question. Well, first, I think we have a realization that our employees really has to come first. So we've made it an effort to really mobilize and organize ourselves to protect the 85,000 employees that work for AGI, as well as all the other communities and stakeholders that are affected by this pandemic. As a company, you can have all the assets, no? You can have all the access to the financing, you can have all the cash. But at the end of the day, it's really your people, our people, who will be there to execute whatever strategy and plans we have for the future. So it's absolutely imperative for us to protect our employees. So we've created a lot of new programs for that moving forward. Secondly, I think financial flexibility, as I mentioned in my talk, it's important to maintain a very healthy balance sheet so that we can easily move, no, where the markets go, no. For this pandemic, for example, it was completely unexpected, but because of our strong balance sheet, we were able to weather it through, and now we're in the road to recovery. Of course, thirdly, you have to be ready to refocus your business. You have to be ready to identify which parts of your business are resilient, and then put more emphasis in that. In our case, for example, we realized that our international sales, for example, was a very resilient business for us. So we're putting a lot of emphasis in this business, in you guys. Of course, we've also realized that a lot of the developments or properties now outside Metro Manila are selling much better than they have ever been sold before. Before it was always Metro Manila. Now the pendulum has swung to the other direction, which is now mostly outside Metro Manila. We've seen tremendous growth there. So we have refocused quite a number of our efforts to those projects, and we have accelerated the development of those areas. So that's one of the lessons we learned during this COVID pandemic. And last but not the least, of course, it's we have to give back to society. From day one of the pandemic, we took it upon ourselves to mobilize our efforts to really help our communities and help the country. One of the re- One of the ways we did that was we repurposed our alcohol plant, for example, and we basically created 1 million liters of ethyl alcohol, which we distributed for free to the healthcare workers and through the frontliners. We also did tremendous feeding programs, and as you well know, created testing facilities also to help ramp up our testing. Um, so I think it's time for us to seek a higher purpose, and that's why all of our companies have been one in trying to help the country combat this terrible pandemic.
Thank you so much, Sir Kevin. I felt the passion and felt the sincerity. It's going back to the society also, as we do business is something that we really need to think about. Thanks so much, Sir Kevin. Mac?
All right, that's correct, John. So now I would just like to read another question from our chat box. Okay, so let me just check it in again. We have an interesting question here coming from one of our senior assistant vice presidents, Miss Celulu Garcia Hing, and her question is directed to Madam Senator Pia. Madam Senator Pia, her question is, how will we turn climate change challenges into opportunities, especially during this pandemic?
Um,
I really, well, first of all, I have a positive mindset, no? And with that kind of mindset, you can really turn any difficulty into an opportunity. So that's one, no? You use that mindset. And during this time where a lot of people were sidelined, maybe some people lost their jobs, or in the early days, people were just told to stay at home. There was so much opportunity to see what was going around in the world, and there was so much opportunity to share information. And this digital information that is easily available to us makes it so much easier to find solutions. So best practices in one part of the world, is one click away. Somebody posted at night, and in the morning you see it, and you can make use of it. And by sharing this, using digital platforms, you can connect with people who may be interested, who may have people have different resources. They may have the funding, they may have the time, they may have a platform. So one little example I'd like to give is my passion for bicycles. Early in COVID, obviously the need was PPEs for health frontliners and food, no? Because the subsidy that government gave, I was actually the author and the sponsor of Bayanihan to recover as one. That took a while to reach the people because we still don't have a national ID system, and so it took a while to verify who exactly are the recipients and so on and so forth. Not a good situation to be in, but that was the reality. So in the meantime, people were, reaching out on their own, giving food, which I also did through my network. But since I'm very passionate about bicycling, that has become my focus now. And I share this on social media because, like I said, different people have different resources. I have the resources to purchase a certain amount and to share it on my own, but other people are very active in social media or posting 100 times a day. They have the ability to share this network with other people who want to do the same. We made it easy for people to contribute. They can donate any amount, and so if X number of people donate 50 pesos, that's good for one bike, and so on and so forth. I use my network with mayors and governors all over, mostly in the metropolitan areas. So that's just an example of how we can use this pandemic. And just to address the question, in case some people are like, why is Pia Cayetano talking about biking? Precisely because that addresses climate change. That's a sustainable mode of transportation. I have been promoting it, but suddenly people find it interesting enough to discuss, and it's actually on the Senate floor. We'll be able to pass. It's actually called the Safe Pathways Network. So this will promote the use of bicycle and other non-motorized forms of transportation. So some people feel like politicians are not easy to talk to or are the last to know what's going on. But this is an example of me. Well, it's actually my passion, like I said, but then um, I'm cognizant of what's going on the ground. And so without just waiting for that law to pass, I and friends of mine, family of mine, went ahead and just started this donation drive for bicycles. So, and that's just one example. There's so many else out there.
Mhm. Thank you very much, Madam Senator Pia. We appreciate your efforts in the Senate with regard to the sustainability, I mean, your sustainability efforts. Yes, John, for our next question.
And not to forget, Mac, positive mindset. I think that is
Positive
such a
mindset.
key
Yes.
to do things.
Important things, right?
Right. Okay, this time around, we have another question from our chat box. This goes to Sir Kevin, and the question came from Mr. Alex Nazari of Qatar, when he asked, how does sustainability and innovation fit into a post-pandemic society?
Yeah, thanks for the question. So I think, sustainability is become so important now. I mean, I remembered when the COVID crisis started and China got shut down, there was a pollution map that was released by Harvard University, and it showed the amount of pollution over China uh, on January, comparing it to how it was on February, when Wuhan and a lot of these industrial cities were on lockdown and basically factories were closed. The stark contrast between the two was absolutely glaring, and it really makes you realize that there's really an urgent need to get our act together and really strive for sustainability. Our population growth around the world, um, in due time, will actually deplete our natural resources. And also because of this tremendous population growth, you know, there's so much carbon emissions that if it's uncontrolled, it will actually permanently damage the earth. Which is why we take our sustainability goals at AGI very, very seriously. And as a company, as a group, we do want to be carbon neutral starting 2030. Now, for innovation, I think the concept of innovation is now really a reality for most businesses today. Um, maybe before it was just a buzzword, or it was just cool to have. I always tell people it's like the idea of innovation and digital transformation is like your high school crush. No? Before, maybe you sort of flirted with the idea, maybe you have a fling with that idea, but today that crush or that idea is someone that you got to live with, and someone you have to marry, even. So with innovation, it has really been a fantastic journey for AGI in the last 3 years. We consider ourselves a very agile and a very nimble company. In fact, we created Agile, which stands for AGI. But it's an investment that for us during COVID, we've seen it as really paying off. With this pandemic, we're able to now reach our customers directly without having to have face-to-face contact. We are also touch more people's lives now with technology, and we try to make life so much easier for our customers and our communities. The convenience of not only living in a township, which by the way has now proven to be the new way of life in the Philippines, and now the convenience of living in a smart home is unimaginably amazing, which is why we will continue to invest in technology as we continually strive to create better townships for the future.
Thank you so much, Sir Kevin. And of course, we cannot wait for iTownships, in the coming years ahead. Thank you so much.
Mhm. I mean, I'm surprised. Yeah, AGI. Agile, an agility. It seems
Agility.
more like of a prophecy, our ability to be able to adapt and be flexible to the things that are happening now. Very, very good. Very nice insight.
Very
Thank you very much for
interesting.
Kevin. We have another question here again, so let me just scroll through our chat box. Yeah, so we have a very interesting question here again, coming from, again, one of our senior assistant vice presidents, Ms. Jessica Villanueva Tan. Her question is directed to Madam Senator Pia. Madam Senator, how do we lay the framework for global sustainable development and the new reality? And what are the roles of citizens, investors, and businesses?
Roles that out.
I really believe that going through COVID, this pandemic, really opens the eyes of many people who normally are stuck with their day-to-day challenges. Really, you look at people who talk about sustainability. Um, Either you feel like buti pa sila, they have time, like, oh, they have time to talk about that, or they're activists. That's why they're including that in that's something that's important to them. But during this time of COVID, I really believe that it opened up everybody's eyes. And what I've always said is that the nice thing about the SDGs is there's so much to do that each person, and I'm talking to the individual citizen, the young person out there, the old person out there is an SDG that will suit you, something that you will find something that you're passionate about. I don't want you to say, let's do that because Pia Cayetano's doing that, or let's do that because Kevin Tan is doing that. No, find something you're passionate. So what tugs at your heart? Is it feeding people? Is it providing housing? Is it contributing to clean air, and therefore you'll do your part by ride sharing, by walking shorter distances, by actually getting on a bike? Is it um, achieving our health goals, and which means maybe you can lecture to young people, to older people, to anyone about nutritious eating? Do you know that during this time of COVID, in all our attempts to help people who did not have enough food, most people have been giving very unnutritious food. And so my advocacy was actually to give vegetables. And in the very beginning, people were looking down at it and saying, that's the most difficult thing to contribute. You should contribute canned goods. And I'm like, yeah, but that's such an unsustainable lifestyle. This pandemic is not going to go away in 1 week. And how healthy will these people be if they're eating canned goods for the next 2 months, 3 months, 6 months? So exacto, I was working with the Department of Agriculture and so on and so forth, and we were able to open up the barriers for the shipments, not the shipments, but the land land trips of the truckloads of vegetables that were coming mostly from the north. So my point there is every person can find something they're passionate about. Google SDG and choose something that you want to dig your teeth in. And as far as investors are concerned, as I mentioned, I chair the committee that is defending that will soon be a new law on rationalizing the incentives that we offer investors. And we are also very focused on sustainability. So if you want to do your part, it's not a matter of incentives. It's a matter of what's good for your future generation, what's good for the Philippines, and invest in that. And we're trying to do our part in government by recognizing those initiatives and trying to reward it. But I'm also challenging businesses that make your plan, invest in that plan, because at the end of the day, it will contribute not just to the success of your business, but to better Philippines.
Right. Thank you so much, Senator Pia. Once again, go back to your passion, fit into one of the 70 Sustainable Development Goals, and be you or be that somebody who can be a big contribution to the society. Thanks so much for that, ma'am. This time around, we will be getting another question from our chat box, and this goes to Sir Kevin. The question came from Mr. Oliver Smith of Canberra, Australia. And he asked, how is AGI moving forward as a conglomerate?
Yeah, we, as I mentioned in the before previously, we do have a 5-point strategy to move us forward through this current pandemic. No, first is sustainability and wellness. Of course, with the support of government and our good friends like Senator Pia here, with there's more policy and gets more to become a very truly sustainable company. Of course, we are also putting a lot of focus, as I mentioned, on employee wellness. They are super important for us now, right now. Secondly, is of course earnings diversity. We've had numerous examples in the past where we've, looked for opportunities to diversify our earnings. One of the examples, of course, is of course this like the Megworld International Group. We were the first real estate company to set up an international division. Again, that was an example of diversifying our also focusing on the international markets, or especially the markets where there's a high concentration of Filipinos. And then, of course, Mega World International today is now currently our largest sales group, and it's been a huge contributor to Mega World's success. Thirdly, of course, innovation. We're very, very committed to that. We have always been committed to innovation since 3 years ago, and we've put significant investments in technology, and we continue to invest in technology. In fact, we will invest even more. No, we are in fact right now we're even trying to create a platform that helps selling real estate products easier online. This platform is actually meant to help as well our international sales group. We hope to be able to remove the friction that occurs, some of the friction that occurs when transacting traditionally, no, or when transacting abroad. We want to try to shorten also the processing periods, and all these other things. Fourthly, financial flexibility. I think we want to continue to maintain a good balance sheet. We want to, I think our philosophy of capping our debt to equity ratio at 50% was the correct strategy. And I think that is something that we intend to maintain moving forward. And last but not the least, of course, is our ability to adapt and look for new opportunities. This is a time that there's a lot of opportunities out there. I think one of the areas that have been badly hit, tourism industry. I think there's still tremendous opportunity there, and I think our commitment is still there to expand in that sector. We continue to build more rooms, more capacity, and build more talents for that industry. Of course, there's a lot of other things that we can also be looking at this time. A lot of opportunities brought about by this pandemic. So we're mindful, and we remain to be, keep our eyes open for these new things to come.
All right. Thank you
so
very
much,
much.
sir.
Thank you very much, Sir Kevin. We're very much sure that the 5-point strategy of AGI would come to fruition. I mean, given the management experience and the industry experience that we have in AGI. So at this point, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be having our final question. So let me just look at another question on our chat box. So here we go. We have another question, our final question from Miss Daniviv Ferenc from San Francisco, USA. And this question is directed to Sir Kevin. Sir Kevin, for our real estate business, Mega World, what is our recovery anchored on?
So we created a program. We called it RISE, no? RISE. So R for resilience. No, first is that it is a fact. Mega World has been through many, many crises before. Mega World actually started during the height of the military coup d'etat and 89, and also and after that we had two of the largest calamities that ever hit the Philippines. No, it was the earthquake, the Luzon earthquake, and the Mount Pinatubo eruption, which is the largest eruption I think the world's ever seen. That all happened around the time Mega World was formed. Eastwood City, our first ever township development, our proof of concept, actually started at the height of the Asian financial crisis. Again, the worst financial crisis Asia's ever seen. We started Eastwood during that time. Newport City and Resorts Road, Manila was built during the 2008 subprime crisis in the US. So we have a history of moving very swiftly and spotting opportunities during times of crisis. And this has really defined the success of Mega World. And I think the COVID crisis, although it's terrible crisis, it's a health problem, and a lot of people got sick. It still does pose a lot of opportunities for us as a company. So we remain mindful of that. Secondly, Arise, I for innovation. As you well know, we are in the forefront of that. With I Townships, which we launched 2 years ago, with our Agile Digital Ventures, which is a fund that we created to continually invest in new startup technology. And of course, all of the digital enhancements that we're doing, both internally and externally for our customers as well, that will be accelerated during this time. S for stability. No? That's our fourth pillar. Of course, as I mentioned, we want to maintain a healthy balance sheet, which then enables us to be rated well as a company. Now, as you know, very recently, last month, 2 months ago, we raised a 350 million US dollar bond from Mega World, and we did that in 11 days. It's a record-breaking 11 days, and we did that all online from work from home status. We did it at a coupon rate of about 4.125%. Now I know for most of you from abroad, that doesn't seem that's not as the lowest we can go, but in the Philippine setting, actually, that's one of the best rates, or is the best rate was given to a real estate company like us. And last but not the least, empathy. So RISE, no, RISE, empathy. Well, Mega World has been giving back, no? And I think of all the AGI groups of companies, I think Mega World has been the largest contributor. We prepared a lot of funding for feeding programs for our communities. We gave out a lot of PPEs. We repurposed some of our hotels to house, our overseas foreign workers who had to come home to quarantine. We've, our fleet of buses. We have a fleet of 30 buses, which we use to on a normal day as transportation to and from our townships. We use that every day to transport actually our frontliners to and from the hospitals to various points of Metro Manila. So we did a lot of these efforts all throughout the entire crisis, no? And until today. And of course, as I mentioned, we are very focused right now on our employees' well-being and health. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Sir Kevin. Resilience, innovation, sustainability, and empathy. Wow, I think that's a perfect recipe for recovery.
That's right, Mac. And more than anything else, I think Senator Tia's thoughts and Sir Kevin's thoughts combined into one is a compendium of, having the positive and the right mindset, rising from this uniquely challenging environment. Thank you so much once again, Sir Kevin and Madam Senator Tia, for sharing your time and expertise to all their sales networks and their guests, Mega World International's officers and staff. And of course, at this point, we would like you to please accept the virtual certificates of appreciation.
Okay, so we have our virtual certificates for our guests, for our speakers. So may we request also a photo opportunity with our speakers. So for our panelists, may you please put your microphones and videos off. And also may we request all our 3 speakers to please turn on your videos. Okay, so this is for the photo opportunity. And John, shall we now take the photo?
Okay, let's do it. In 3, 2, 1. Okay, I guess we have taken a photo of our 3 speakers.
All right, so we're good. So Once again, we are honored by your presence, Madam Senator Pia and Sir Kevin. Thank you very much, and more power to your efforts on sustainability and innovation. So, yes, guys, we have just wrapped up a very interesting panel discussion, and I'm sure our participants have learned a lot in this session. I myself have pleasantly been enlightened with the wonderful insights I have heard from our two speakers. So the next part of the program now is a presentation about our company, MegaWorld Corporation.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much. For the next segment, I am pleased to welcome back our Senior Vice President and Managing Director of MegaWorld, Ms. Maria Victoria Acosta.
Thank you very much, Mac and John. Thank you very much to our Senator, Madam Senator Pia Cayetano and Mr. Kevin Tan. Once again, greetings to everyone. I am tasked to present the sustainability story of MegaWorld Corporation and its subsidiaries. Let me start by sharing with you again the corporate structure of Alliance Global Incorporated, of which MegaWorld is a part of. Alliance Global is one of the Philippines' largest conglomerates operating in 5 major business sectors in the Philippines. For food and beverage, we have Emperador Incorporated, Quick Service Restaurant Golden Arches Development Corporation, Integrated Entertainment and Gaming Property Sector, we have Travelers International. For infrastructure, we have Infracorp. For the real estate sector, MegaWorld and subsidiaries, Empire East Global Estate Resorts Incorporated and SunTrust Properties Incorporated. MegaWorld International is the global marketing arm of MegaWorld, present in over 60 countries, and we are tasked to promote the company's various developments across the Philippines to the global market. For 2020 and beyond, our goal is to go beyond what our company has achieved in terms of delivering our products and services to our customers. We believe that for us to answer the needs of the global market better, we need to put sustainability at the core of our initiatives. As we march on to a new decade armed with our battle cry, anchored on sustainability, we also face new challenges that require an innovative way of looking at how we can continue growing our business while making a bigger, more meaningful impact to society. So let me continue by sharing our story. MegaWorld's first 30 years. The first 30 years of the MegaWorld Group is a remarkable story of resilience, innovation, and success. After enduring the impact of the Asian financial crisis in the late 90s, we regained our bearings and drew inspiration from the vision of our chairman, Dr. Andrew L. Tan, to bounce back stronger. In 1999, we introduced the Philippines' first ever integrated urban township, Eastwood City. The success of Eastwood City paved a way in the Philippine property sector and showcased how integrated developments can open up economic opportunities while allowing us to grow our residential, commercial, mall, and hotel portfolios. Today, the entire MegaWorld Group has 26 townships, integrated lifestyle communities, and lifestyle estates in key strategic locations all over the Philippines, each one becoming a major economic anchor that impacts many different sectors. Each of these townships plays host to one or more of our 700 residential towers, 17 lifestyle mall developments, about 1.3 million square meters of leasable office space, and nearly 4,000 hotel room keys from our 10 homegrown hotel brands. With the real estate group's growing portfolio, we have created established and rising communities in around 50 cities and municipalities across the country, from Baguio City in northern Luzon to Davao in Mindanao. As we create flourishing communities, we also look ahead into the future and see how we can further help fulfill the potential of more areas in the country. Today, we have grown our land bank to almost 5,000 hectares. This gives us a distinct edge to plan and continue developing various areas into thriving districts in the next 10 years. All of these efforts form part of how we are able to contribute and pursue sustainable progress and development in this part of the world. Throughout our 30 years, the MegaWorld Group has helped create more than 500,000 direct and indirect jobs for Filipinos through our property developments. From the planning and construction of our townships and residential developments to the BPO offices that serve as home to thousands of Filipino workers, our malls that cater to standout local and international brands, and our hotels that inspire new experiences and celebrate Filipino hospitality, we take great pride in having created more opportunities for people to grow their careers and continue providing for their respective families. At MegaWorld International, we take pride in having created opportunities for our global marketing network to grow their careers and earn additional income to provide for their families back in the Philippines. Giving back to communities. In the past 30 years, we have also devoted our time and mobilized our resources to help communities move forward. We believe that education is the youth's passport to a bright future. This has been among the core advocacies championed by MegaWorld Foundation, our very own corporate social responsibility or CSR arm. Through the years, we have supported the education of financially challenged young Filipinos by granting close to 10,000 scholarships to deserving students across 48 schools all over the country. Today, out of the almost 700 scholars who have graduated in the program, about 92% of them are employed in AGI companies. As a group, we also continue to make our presence felt in the different communities that we serve. At MegaWorld International, we have commissioned MWI ambassadors from different countries to conduct outreach activities in the Philippines. Among the activities they spearhead include book reading and feeding programs for the underprivileged children. When COVID-19 shut down most nations and economies around the world, we at MegaWorld International did our part and extended a helping hand to communities of distressed Filipinos around the world. We partnered with the Philippine Overseas Labor and Office's Overseas Workers Welfare Administration to donate relief aids to hundreds of OFWs based in Kuwait, Oman, and the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, and Jordan. MegaWorld International also came to the aid of frontline workers and healthcare professionals in the UK and Australia by giving food, face masks, and headscarves. Apart from this, much needed grocery bags were handed out to Filipino international students in Australia and a Filipino parish community in Rome. Moreover, we at MegaWorld International also became one with the call of our chairman, Dr. Andrew Tan, to strengthen the fight against COVID-19 by following government-mandated safety protocols, including the wearing of masks through the Mas Tagumpay campaign. The entire MegaWorld family responded in full force with its Mask United campaign. From blood donation programs, tree growing activities, livelihood and employment projects in partnership with LGUs, relief donation drives, coastal cleanups, and championing renewable energy, we take fulfillment in being able to leave meaningful footprints while helping communities prosper. Hearing the call for sustainability, we hear the call loud and clear. We recognize the dire need to commit to more meaningful change and urge everybody to take up arms against the monumental challenge ahead of us. Today, MegaWorld's Real Estate Group commits itself to sustainability, to empower our future and the future of our communities. We are taking on this challenge and sharing with all of you our corporate sustainability statement. Please watch this video.
We are a group of companies actively and responsibly pursuing sustainability excellence across all segments of our business through initiatives aligned with our vision. Community. We commit to create inclusive growth for our stakeholders and the communities around us by providing equal access to relevant resources and opportunities in order to promote shared prosperity and social harmony. Environment. We support the protection and conservation of natural habitats and ecosystems by gearing our development activities towards optimum land use, a reduced carbon footprint, efficient waste management, and the responsible consumption of resources, all while building sustainable communities. Economy. We contribute to the country's economic thrust by pursuing local development through innovation and technology, efficient and progressive infrastructure, job generation, and worthwhile partnerships and collaborations with local governments and people's organizations.
As part of embracing a future anchored on sustainability, we have committed ourselves to supporting the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, or UN SDGs, that go beyond simply caring for the environment to promote social and economic growth. Out of the 17 UN SDGs, we have narrowed down our focus to the following goals. One, creating sustainable communities. Long before it became a known concept in the business sector, we have already embraced the idea of sustainability as part of the identity of the real estate boom. Our very own Eastwood City pioneered this live, work, play concept in response to the call to help build a more sustainable society. To illustrate how this becomes a possibility, please watch this video. Today, MegaWorld Townships proudly carry this pioneering development concept. This can be witnessed in Arcovia City, in Pasig City, a 12.3-hectare township that hosts the Arco de Emperador, the tallest bronze monument in the Philippines. If Madrid has its own Arco de la Victoria, Berlin has Brandenburg Gate, and Paris has Arc de Triomphe, Manila now has its latest iconic landmark with the Arco de Emperador. Another township development modeled after MegaWorld's celebrated live, work, play lifestyle concept is Highland City in Cainta, Rizal. We are very excited about this new township as it will soon evoke a character of a city sitting on highlands. Over at the booming entertainment city in Parañaque, the portion of Metro Manila where the famed Manila Bay sunset flaunts its beauty is another MegaWorld township modeled after the live, work, play concept, Westside City. Rising soon within these 30-hectare townships are luxury malls, a wide array of leisure facilities, hotels, and residential developments such as the 15-tower Bayshore Residential Resorts and the 4-tower Gentry Manor. MegaWorld has also been at the forefront of embracing digital transformation as a way to integrate sustainability into its corporate blueprint. Just last August, the company launched Pikaru, an all-in-one on-demand premium lifestyle delivery app under Agile Digital Ventures. I think it was mentioned earlier. The app offers convenience like no other, where customers can purchase products ranging from food, gadgets, personal care, school supplies, hotel dishes to COVID-19 essentials from over 300 local and international merchants. The company has introduced a variety of programs geared towards fulfilling this objective, including the integrated FOPM automated experience by First Oceanic, which is a homegrown online platform offering residents of properties managed by First Oceanic unparalleled digital convenience through web-based customer service and online bills payment, among others. There is also Acquire, a digital customer service platform that provides convenience to our clients by allowing them to pay the reservation fee and monthly amortizations using their debit or credit cards. MegaWorld Hotels, meanwhile, has also recently rolled out its eConcierge mobile app, which allows guests to check in and out and even order food from the hotel's various F&B outlets, all done contactless and purely digital. Even MegaWorld Lifestyle Malls now promotes a variety of contactless innovations, all aimed at making the shopping experience in the new normal safer and happier. All of these efforts are part of MegaWorld's commitment to reinvent customer experience in today's fast-paced world. Job creation. Another area that we would like to continue focusing on is job creation, which responds to the 4UN SDGs. Over the past decades, we have grown our portfolio exponentially and created hundreds of thousands of jobs along the process. From just 193 residential towers in 1999, we now have about 700 residential towers as of end 2019. From having just 36,500 square meters of leasable office space in 1999, we now have 1.3 million square meters of office space, all hosting top-notch local and multinational companies and thousands of employees who are now active contributors to the economy. In terms of our mall developments, we now have more than 500,000 square meters of leasable area, compared to just 28,500 some 20 years ago. Even our hotel room keys have grown massively in number, from just 211 in 1999 to about 4,000 as of end 2019, making us the biggest developer of homegrown hotel brands in the Philippines today. This includes the 18-story Savoy Hotel Mactan, which we formally opened last year. It is the latest addition to the exciting landscape of 30-hectare the Mactan New Town, MegaWorld's township with a beachfront in Lapu-Lapu City, Cebu. The hotel is actually a perfect choice for business travelers since its location allows guests to experience the beach and the township at the same time, where restaurants, cafes, a school, and other retail shops are within easy reach. It is among our most exciting properties to date, especially since investors can own a portion of the hotel by actually buying units. Using this pattern of growth in the next 10 years, we project to create about 3 million jobs across our residential, mall, offices, and hotel developments. By spurring stronger economic activity through our townships, we will be able to promote reverse migration and persuade those who have left their localities to come back and build a career in their own hometown. In this way, we also help keep Filipino families intact. On promoting renewable energy, to respond to 3 SDGs, we commit to make renewable energy as an important feature of our townships by installing more solar farms in the next few years. We will be piloting this project at Festive Walk Mall in Iloilo Business Park and we intend to roll this out to our other townships across the Philippines. Having these solar farms is part of our efforts to utilize a healthy mix of energy sources. For our office developments, we have been building LEED certified office towers in the last decade. In fact, the country's first ever LEED Gold certified BPO building, 8 Campus Place in McKinley Hill, is in itself a proud mega world development. In Jeri's Boracay New Coast, for example, we have been utilizing solar-powered and LED lampposts as a way to save power and use renewable energy. Such is also the case at SunTrust Ecotown in Tanza, Cavite, where we deploy a fleet of e-jeepneys as a means of transportation around the development. Meanwhile, sustainable features such as solar panel roofing, sunroofing, and light wells that maximize natural lighting, perceived air conditioning, cooling design, escalators with slow start features, rainwater harvesting system, and gray water recycling systems are all part of the design of our upcoming mall developments at the Upper East in Bacolod and Maple Grove in General Trias, Cavite. The emphasis on green features as part of our commitment to sustainability has also made our latest properties in southern Luzon and the Philippines among the most sought-after developments in the market. This include the Scandinavian-inspired Ardennes Botanical Village and the Lindgren by Global Estate Resorts Incorporated, which will be surrounded by natural gardens, sprawling parks, and rivers. In the long run, we will complement these initiatives by decarbonizing our developments and achieving a healthy balance of using traditional and renewable energy sources. On waste management, in terms of utilizing single-use plastics in our developments, we have recently received a certification from Hope Foundation, the organization behind Hope in a Bottle, highlighting the milestones set by our Mega World Lifestyle Mall developments in achieving plastic neutrality. The certification recognizes our mall's effort to offset our almost 20-ton mineral water bottle footprint by using market-based technologies approved in the United Nations Basel Convention. On women empowerment, as we move forward, we also celebrate more opportunities to promote gender equality in the workplace. Women play a huge role in helping the real estate group succeed. At MegaWorld International, women make up almost half of the company's leadership. This kind of women empowerment in MegaWorld was recently recognized by an international award-giving body as we received the Women at Work Leadership Award during the 10th Asia's Best Employer Brand Awards held in Singapore. In closing, we would like to reiterate our strong commitment to take on the challenge of the times and champion sustainability towards a more progressive future, as this underscore the vision of MegaWorld to uplift lives, impact society, and help shape the nation. Our Lord has entrusted us with the care of all His creations, and the best way to fulfill our part is to become good and responsible stewards of this earth. Before I end my presentation, let's watch this video. This is how we will continue in the age of the new reality. Our road to continue growing, even in the midst of today's challenges, is hinged on our commitment to embrace innovation and sustainability. By staying true to our CEO, Mr. Kevin Tan's RISE strategy, which he authored, resilience, innovation, stability, and empathy, we are confident that we can weather the storm and emerge stronger than ever. Thank you, and God bless us all.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Marivic, for that very comprehensive presentation of who Mega World truly is. And more so, of course, for sharing how clear and letting us feel how clear our path, our direction gearing towards a better tomorrow for all the Filipino nation. Not to forget, of course, our direction of Mega World International, both for Filipinos in the Philippines and Filipinos across the globe. Thank you so much, ma'am. And on behalf of MegaWorld International, I would like to thank you for being a part of MegaWorld International's Summit on Sustainability and Innovation in the New Reality. We hope someday soon you can all visit the Philippines so you can appreciate the beauty of the country and MegaWorld's future-proof township development.
That's correct, John. And for this part of the program, we will now have breakout sessions wherein our networks from different regions would be glad to assist you and answer your inquiries about investing in MegaWorld's future-proof townships. So I believe by now each territory head has sent out Zoom links for these breakout sessions. So these breakout sessions may be happening right after this program or on a special date. But please see the schedule that we are flashing now on your screens. For your schedules, we have the Middle East One team. Their breakout session will be happening right after this summit. That's going to be 10 p.m. Philippine time. And for our other regions, we have next Middle East 2. That's going to be tonight as well. After this, right after this summit, 10 p.m. Philippine time.
Well,
and next is North America 2, also September 19th tonight, 9:30 a.m. Toronto time. Next is our North America 4 team tomorrow, September 20, 2020, 10 a.m. Philippine time. Next, please. Asia Pacific 2, their breakout session will be happening tomorrow as well, September 20, 3 p.m. Philippine time. Next, please. And our North America 1 team, the team of Sir Eric, it's going to be on September 21, 2020, 9 a.m. Philippine time. Next team from North America is Team Sheila. Their event would be on September 22, 2020, 2 sessions, 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. Philippine time. And last but not the least, all right. So those are our breakout schedule sessions. So please, you may coordinate with your respective inviters for your Zoom links and registration links.
Thank you so much, Mac, for going us through the busy calendar of MegaWorld International. This time around, we will be turning you over to Sir Gerard Vito for the promo announcements. Sir G.
Thank you, John and Mac, for facilitating the summit. And we are also very grateful to our speakers, Madam Senator Pia Cayetano, Mr. Kevin Eltan, and of course, Ms. Marivic Acosta. And now for another important part of the summit. This summit will not be complete without sharing to you our exciting promos for all our buyers. You may focus your attention to the following slides in a while. So hurry. This buyer's promos will run from today until September 30. So for all you buyers out there, definitely you will rise from your respective seats when you hear this rise promo, starting off with our MegaWorld Anniversary promo discount for select projects. That's 50,000 peso off. And of course, we have stretch promo terms for some of our projects being offered. So starting off with our sustainable development in the Green City of Pasig, which is also a winner of the Best Mixed-Use Development in 2019 from the Philippines Property Award. So this is Altea Tower of Arcovia Palazzo in Arcovia City. So imagine you can enjoy almost 500,000 peso savings or 10,000 US dollar savings just by merely issuing your reservation fee of 25,000 pesos. And not only that, if clients will be issuing their post-dated checks, they will enjoy additional 2% post-dated check discount. And after the reservation tonight, the clients will now pay 12,500 as their starting monthly amortization. Okay? So coming from Pasig, we move on now to our township by the bay, which we called West Side City in Parañaque. So we have two developments here. One is Gentry Manor. So if Arcobia gave you 500,000 savings, this one would give you close to 1 million savings. That's 800,000 pesos or 16,000 US dollars savings just by merely issuing your reservation check of 25,000 pesos. And not only that, instead of just paying your amortization for 22 months, it will now be stretched into 30 months payment, starting off with 30,000 pesos for the first 10 months. And of course, let's not forget our lump sum payments on the 10th, 20th, and 30th month at 375,000 pesos. So, still in the Bay Area, we have another equally exciting promo, this time for Bayshore. So here, you can enjoy 1.5 million pesos savings. That's enough money for you to have interiors for your unit, to buy a parking lot, or even pay a down payment for another property for Mega World just by merely issuing 25,000 peso reservation. And of course, our monthly amortization would start at 75,000 pesos for the first 12 months. And both of these projects are included in our March to exceed travel perks. And of course, you can also avail of some gift certificates just by merely purchasing property from our West Side City projects, both Gentry Manor and Bayshore Residential Resort Phase 2. And from Luzon, we now fly to Cebu, one of the world's best islands in 2018, according to Travel and Leisure magazine. So we have two condotels in our Mactan Newtown project. So the first one is Savoy Hotel that opened last November of 2019. So if other developers would require you to pay as much as 50% down payment, here we only require you to pay 2.5% down payment. And after that particular down payment, the next 10% DP will be payable in 24 months. So this is also included in our Mega World Anniversary promo discount of 50,000 pesos. So the next condotel inside Mactan Newtown is of course Belmont Hotel Mactan. So here we have stretched payment. So instead of the usual regular 17-month payment term, we stretched it to 30-month payment term for only 18,000 pesos a month for the first 10 months. So still, the reservation is at 25,000 pesos and it is also included in the Mega World Anniversary promo of 50,000 pesos. And while waiting for the turnover of your purchased units, why not enjoy an extra night for free on your next staycation at Savoy Hotel Manila inside Newport City, which is a Trip Advisor Traveler's Choice Award winner for 2020. So this extra night perk is on top of your regular 3-day, 2-night stay for Mega World and Jerry project. So all the links for this particular promos are already posted in our chat box. So you may take a look at our chat box so you can refer to the links of these computations and on these promos. Thank you very much. Have a pleasant evening.
All right. Thank you so much, Sir Gerard, for that promo announcement. And that concludes our summit on sustainability and innovation and the new reality. We would like to end by flashing our feedback QR code on your screens. Now, if you happen to try this now, you'll be able to get to our digital certificates. Otherwise, you may also look at our chat box for the link to access your digital certificate. And before we finally say goodbye, we will say hi to those groups that are on live over Facebook. Hi, Team Europe 2 and to other teams. Hello. Okay, and please do take time to let us know your comments and suggestions. Maki, say your hi too.
Yes, we also have groups who are having viewing parties. Yeah, in the different satellite offices that we have around the globe. Hi to everyone. A big shout out to you guys. All right, and once again, thank you to our guests and attendees. And with that, I am Mac Agapito.
And I am John Peñaflor. Thank you, everyone, and we all have a great day ahead. God bless.